hello, Charlie. Charlie Wilcox, are you in? Oh, well, yes, you have just missed him. It's difficult to say exactly at the moment. There's some talk of going to Brussels. Yes. So perhaps we ought to give it a miss to be on the safe side. Thanks, though. Lovely idea. Mm-hmm. I'll get him to give you a buzz. Goodbye. Will you ring him sometime?
Yes, sure.
Having a dinner party next weekend, but how am I going to cope with all this?
What?
Well, the invitations. You'll not go to the club. You'll not see anyone socially. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know.
Thanks. Better see to dinner.
I'm going out. I've got a meeting. I have.
Of course you have.
With Gordon Meredith.
There is no need for that anymore.
Look, I swear.
What's the matter? Can't you cope? Do you still have to have your little lies?
I'm meeting Gordon Meredith at the Midland. We've got a lot to talk about. I shall probably be some time.
And that's official, folks.
It happens to be a fact. If you choose not to believe it, it's entirely up to you.
Oh, it's nice. I've got a choice. Does that mean you're not coming back tonight?
Well, maybe
Oh, spending the night with Gordon Meredith. Now, wouldn't that set a few tongues wagging?
Sal, stop it.
Then why can't you come straight out and say where you're going, that you're spending the night with her?
Because it hadn't occurred to me.
Oh, I do put some dreadful thoughts into your head, don't I? It's all my fault. What can I be thinking of? Driving my poor dear husband out of the house and into the arms of the first scheming little slut who has...
Cut that out.
Yes.
You rang her.
What?
Sharon, you rang her at the office.
That.
Why?
Felt like it.
No, don't.
What?
Ever again. Whatever you have to say, you say to me.
Very noble of you.
Look, best if we keep this between ourselves, eh? You and me.
Like we always have. All through life, any difficulties, we've kept them tight, you and me, worked it all out. Somehow we will, won't we?
Look, it's gone 6:30.
You go to her.
I really do have a meeting.
And you wouldn't want to be late. I know what it's like to be kept waiting.
You in? Ah, good. I'm glad I caught you. I want to see you about 2 documents that...
I have instructed my lawyers to withdraw my claim to the casino. Be satisfied with having got what you wanted and clear out. I have work to do.
That is the topmost bid that I've received for the casino.
The money's good, but that man's a crook.
Yes, well, this is the bid that I suggest that you make for it. You'll see that it's more than your revised bid, but appreciably less than your competitors. All you need to do is sign.
I'm not interested.
Well, there's no harm in looking. I mean, this way you get something cheap and I get something worthwhile for Georgina, Moran and Mrs. Hamilton.
It's a ridiculous suggestion.
You wouldn't agree to give Georgina and Mrs. Hamilton non-voting shares while retaining the controlling interest yourself?
No.
Nor grant Mrs. Hamilton the right to reassume management of the casino within 6 months, if she chose to do so?
I gave her that chance once before. I never repeat my offers.
You're not offering at the moment, I am.
You are asking me for something that no other bidder is prepared to grant.
Hence the reduced purchase price, something for everyone.
No.
You'd like time to sulk it over.
What?
Isn't that what you're doing now, sulking?
Who'd get all the bid money, your fiancée?
It would be divided equally between her and Mrs. Hamilton.
Then you'd get your hands on half of it when you married her. No.
There's a clause in the contract that would prevent that. Found it?
I don't trust it. I wouldn't trust any young man of your doubtful reputation who suddenly starts defending women in distress without asking for a percentage.
And then you've never been in love, have you?
I have been in love, young man, ever since I first laid eyes on my wife.
Then you have your strange way of showing your love, and I have mine. I'll look in at 8 o'clock. By that time, you might have changed your mind about that. If not, there won't be another deadline. I'll close with the highest bidder first thing in the morning.
Mr. Lord, my wife tells me that she had a late supper with you and Mrs. Harvey last night. What was that about?
It was about the fact that you didn't seem to be concerned whether your wife ate at all last night. She's a very tense woman at the moment, Mr. Pollard. I don't believe that that's characteristic of her.
Thank you for your diagnosis. I must ask her what's wrong with her.
Yes, you try that. Might be a very good idea.
Sure you'll be all right on your own?
I shan't go wandering off again if that's what's worried you. No, you go on. I'm feeling much better.
I won't be long. I just must pop over to see Mum for an hour.
Nothing wrong at home, is there, Kevin?
No, just family business. Glenn won't be so late tonight, so you won't be on your own.
Oh, stop fussing, Kevin. I'm a grown woman. I should have more control over my feelings.
Well, sometimes you can't help letting go.
The thing that concerns me is, though, in case a letter comes from the hospital while I'm like this. Now, if it does, I don't want Glenda to miss her chance because of me. I shall be all right.
Of course you will. A couple of weeks, she'll be back to normal.
Well, will you promise me that if it does come, she's got to go in whatever I'm like? Because it's not as if I'm ill in bed and need nursing.
OK, I promise.
Well, mind you stick to it. Because if anything should go wrong, I'd never be able to forgive myself, you know.
Drink. Coffee. Not been your best lately.
Oh, whatever gave you that impression?
It was mentioned to me.
Ah, it was mentioned to you.
I noticed it too, of course.
Of course. When?
Would you like to eat in town tonight? Somewhere cheerful?
Yes.
Good. Oh, I forgot. I might need to be here at 8 o'clock. Still, that's early. We can go in afterwards.
Business,
Yes.
I suppose?
I'm afraid so.
Yes, I thought so. Talking of business, why don't you put me into the casino?
What casino?
Casino Richard Lord said you would be buying.
When did he say that?
When he took me out to supper somewhere cheerful.
I thought it was only here.
The location didn't matter, just the company.
Well, it was a premature assumption of Richard Lord's. I have no intention of buying that casino.
Oh, what a pity. Now, I shall never know why you'd never put me into it.
Interesting young man, Richard Lord. Do you know, he has certain qualities that remind me of myself when young.
Very comforting.
How hard did he work on you to soften me up?
Not at all. He was far too busy putting down Paul Ross.
Far down?
Well, he virtually reduced him to a kitchen hand. There be bad blood between those two. I'm happy to say that it's Paul Ross that does the bleeding. Every time.
I should like to see that.
Yes, I rather expected you might.
Oh, David, I'd like to eat early tonight. Do you want to eat with me or
What
not?
time?
8-ish.
I have a meeting with J. Henry at 8.
David, our meeting at 8. I can't do it. A clash.
You're putting off a motel business appointment for one of your own?
But I think Barbara can tell you why.
Why?
Well, you must have noticed Valerie.
Ah, another headache. I thought she only got those when Councillor Berry was around.
No, she seems to get them when I am not around.
I see. At last you heard.
So you'll approve then?
Of what?
Well, I'm going to take Valerie into town to eat, somewhere cheerful. We can discuss the bypass situation tomorrow. In any case, I have left a full report of everything I have done about it up to date, and it's on your desk.
You see, David? The man wishes to put his wife before business. I think that makes a nice, refreshing change of priorities. You should try it sometime.
See what you've started. Let me know if Valerie survives the shock. That J. Henry's report?
Only J. Henry could start a report with the words, "No problem is insoluble," by me. Restaurant, please. Oh, Paul, my husband and I won't need our table tonight. No, we're going to eat out.
I didn't
Thank
say
you.
that.
If J. Henry can take his wife out to dinner, I can take my husband.
Thought you wanted an early night.
The sight of J. Henry's husbandly considerations for his wife overexcited me.
Don't calm down. You know, everything J. Henry says he's on about the bypass amounts to one word. Nothing.
Well, it's even Stevens then, isn't it?
What?
What did you do about it exactly yourself? Except practically throw me into the arms of Councillor Berry.
Don't exaggerate.
Next time you want me to be pleasant to a man, find out first if he's a lecher.
I do understand your way of thinking, though. If Councillor Berry weren't a lecher, why bother throwing me at him at all?
All right, I'll warn him off.
What, and provoke him into putting that bypass straight through the motel?
Oh, darling, come in, come in.
Hello, Mum.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, just thought I'd look in. Is Dad in?
Meeting.
Oh?
Gordon Meredith.
Figures.
Why do you say that?
He's a big architect. I heard there was something in the offing.
Oh.
Look,
How's Kath?
Oh, she's okay.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Glenda phoned last night in such a flap.
Yeah, sir, all over.
What's the trouble?
Well, she went for a walk without asking permission. Great, isn't it, when you got to ask your kids what you can do? Are you all right?
Me, of course I am.
Good.
Well, why shouldn't I be?
Tough time, I'd have thought.
Why do you say that?
Look, I had a chat with Dad last night and he told me all about it.
Why did he have to go doing a thing like that?
It's better that he did, really. I'd have heard about it from somewhere, wouldn't I?
Yes. People have a nose for that sort of filth. But I would have thought he might just have mentioned it to me about your knowing.
Had this meeting on his mind, I expect.
Might have, if he could find room for it.
Mac,
Hello, Kath.
come in, love.
Ta. I just saw Kevin drive off and I knew you were in your home. I thought you might be glad for a bit of company.
Oh, I'm very glad. Go on in.
Oh, Ta.
Kevin tells me you've changed your mind about selling the house.
Yeah, I've decided to rent it if Dobson will let me off the hook.
Well, why shouldn't he? Can't stop you.
Yeah, well, we did have some sort of verbal agreement and I did sign a piece of paper. He's threatening to take me to his solicitor
Well, he
now.
can't do that unless you've signed the contract. Sit down.
Oh, Ta. Oh, I could do without the hassle right now, Kath.
Yeah, you'd rather sell up and have finished with it, wouldn't you?
It might mean losing money, but...
Oh, forget about the money, Mac. You're young. You can make up for that. No, let Dobson have the house. You've never been happy in it, have you?
No.
And if you rent it out, you might be in for a packet of trouble with bad tenants.
Yeah, Kevin's gonna think I've gone round the twist.
Never mind what Kevin thinks. You please yourself.
Oh, thanks, Kath. Made me feel better already just talking to you. Let's be going on with my troubles when there's you
look,
with...
if you do sell, you'll have to think of somewhere to live quick, won't you?
Yeah. I like to find somewhere that does full board. So I don't have to worry about me grub and me shopping and things like that. Somewhere like the Hoopers, you know, but not there.
Well, it shouldn't be too difficult to find, Dick.
Oh, it is round where I work. Maybe if I get up to Castlewich or Brum, I might be lucky. But now I've got the journey back, you see. I do tend to put some hours in.
Yeah, well, don't go pushing things. You just leave it with me.
Do you know somewhere then, do you?
I might do.
David was rather put out at being put off. But I think Barbara realized that I was setting him a good example.
Why don't you ease up, Jay?
Will you?
It depends.
On what?
On whether you want me to come as I am or get into something a little more fetching.
Oh, more fetching. Come on, let's go and dress up, shall we?
Together?
There's Richard Lloyd. I think I want to talk to him. Will you go on? I'll join you in about 5 minutes, then we can go on to town. Mr. Lloyd, you could be 5 minutes in the office.
Well, I was going to see you at 8 in any case.
Good. Come on. In you come. Would you like a drink?
No, thanks.
This young man is an outrageous proposition, and you know it. It is a legal atrocity, and my lawyers could drive trucks through it. Nevertheless, I shall sign this entirely reprehensible, one-sided document of yours with 2 provisos.
I am not prepared to consider provisos. They so often invalidate everything that has gone before.
These won't invalidate one iota of this monstrosity. Now, the first proviso is that you undertake to manage the casino for me until such time as Mrs. Hamilton decides whether or not she wants to continue management herself. The second, and more important, is that you accept a contract from me empowering you to control, develop, and protect all my interests in this area. In other words, become my personal representative, answerable only to to me and paid, young man, more money than you or your fiancée have ever dreamed of. There, what do you think of that?
What do I think of that? I think, what's in it for you?
You're in it for me. Best management material I have seen in years. Come on. Let's go to the bar and shake hands on it over a drink.
I never thought your father would be such a fool. I mean, he must be able to see through all that rubbish. I mean, when this gets out, he'll be the laughing stock of the club. She's just a coarse, vulgar little trollop.
Who told you that?
I wasn't told. I could see for myself.
Mum, you don't know her.
Do you?
Yeah, I do a bit. I've had some dealings with her over the years, and she's...
She's what?
She's not what you say. She's...
Perfect, I suppose.
Look,
What can this tremendous magic be that she hoodwinks every man that claps eyes on her?
Listen.
Well, you can't say she's all that attractive, can you? Goes about in trousers all the time. Not a hint of elegance, grooming, or style. Not a single thing going for her. Apart, perhaps, from a come-hither look in the eye. I mean, why couldn't he just have his fun and call it that?
I think there's a bit more to it than that, Mum.
He said that, did he?
Pretty well.
Well, he would. He hasn't got the guts to see it for what it is. Has to wrap it up in some sort of romance. Oh, I think it's pathetic, I really do. If he could only be honest.
Hang on a moment.
And see it for what it is.
Like what?
Well, what do they call it? A 7-year itch? I mean, if he wants to go off and have fun, let him. But to try and turn it into some light of his life...
Mum, I honestly think it'd be better if you looked on this as something more serious. Because I think you'll find it is.
I see. He's got you on his side, has he?
Nothing of the sort.
Well, what do you mean, then, by serious?
What he feels for her, it's not just a question of a boss making his secretary, a bit on the side. It's nothing like that. Is that the sort of man you think he is? Is that the sort of man who's been walking around this house for the last 30 years? Now, he told me he's never once so much as put a foot out of line, and I believe him. Do you?
He didn't choose to tell me that.
Oh, Mum, I don't know what's going to happen with all this, but I'm really hoping it's just going to blow over.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, now don't be like that.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to be like these days. I'm old-fashioned, you see. I can't just shrug it off, turn a blind eye. Is that what I'm supposed to do? If I'm hurt, I cry, Kevin, and you are hurting me right now. I didn't want you to know about all this, but if you had to, well, I'd look for some sort of support. You can't say I'm seeing any now, can you?
The trouble is, I love you both, so I've got to keep out of it, stand aside.
Thank you. That's a great comfort.